didn't have the pots that you make now. And he'd always knew that I'd get up and study in the morning. Well, he'd have the oven of the stove down so the heat was coming out into the kitchen, and then the coffee pot was hot on top. And I could go through my lessons just by sitting there in the warmth and the coffee. Then if I had studied all night.
Oh.
And all the way through I was, you might say of that big school, there was 50 of us that graduated, you know, and I was the top one. And you had to when you graduated, you had to have 16 credits, 4 credits a year. And I had 24 credits.
Good.
Because I took up sewing, I took up cooking, I took up everything. And we had a wonderful teacher that would help me in all those ways, but I got credit for all those. And typing, and I can't even type now. And all those things I used to take up, and I had 24 credits.
Good for you.
Most of them go to try to get through trying to get 16 credits. Now they only have 2 years of high. The other 2 years are junior high.
No.
8th grade and first high and second high. The first and second high and 8 are junior high now. And the last 2 years are your main class.
No.
But they don't have their exams like they used to have. And you got to have your marks up, I guess. But
Did you ever want to go to college?
pardon me?
Did you ever want to go to college?
That was one thing. Dad was disappointed with me. I could have had my college. College wasn't expensive in those days. But all those 4 years of high school, Harvey was hauling freight for my dad at the hardware store. So I went with him during the high school, just on weekends. And he'd come home on the truck sometimes, and I'd be at the basketball game or something. And of course, Dad was the boss of everything there. He'd come up in the balcony and be game half over or something. And I knew Harvey only on weekends, more or less. And then he was in the trucking business, and he'd go around, pick up eggs in all these stores, you know, haul the eggs and all that stuff to the city, and freight back for everybody.
Oh, that's great.
So that's the way things were. And then, of course, after I graduated, naturally, he was at graduation and everything. But my dad was disappointed because I could have gone to college for 2 years not paying anything. It was all paid for, and Dad thought, oh, I should have gone on. And I said, I think I've had all my education the years I've been alone. I wanted a home of my own.
Yeah.
You know, and then my sister, of course, was through teaching then. I mean, she taught in a country school, and she would only come on weekends, so then she was help for me. But she had 17 kids in that grade school, and some of them were older than her. But they liked her, and they kept on. They had to take all 6 grades in order. Now it's all 8 grades, I think. But there's no country schools around here now at all.
Oh.
But she had one that was older than her, and he come back to school. He was a farmer's boy, and my sister boarded in her room with those farmers. He'd come and light the stove and bring food from his ranch. You know, he was so good to her. And she was older. He was older than my sister. But she went to normal school. Ada had normal school. You went once a year to school in normal, and you could teach out in the country.
Oh, really?
So my sister went to 1 year of schooling and everything. And of course, my brother was with my sister in high school. They graduated at the same time. You see, when we moved to Ada, I'm sitting here holding a coffee cup, but we had a country school teacher, and they had gone through quite a few grades. Where when I got to Tom, they gave me a test to show you how good this country teacher was. They gave me a test, and I was supposed to be in 2nd grade, and in in town, they put me right into the third grade.
No, that was good.
So, but my marks and everything, and the same with my sister and my brother. She was an excellent teacher.
No, she
And my
older.
brother wasn't old enough to go to school. See, I was 2 years older than my brother, youngest brother. And her son was about Daryl's age. I mean, the two little ones are the same age. And she used to, they had a great big stove, and she'd bring milk, and she'd make soup and hot chocolate for us and everything. We were 5 miles away from school. That's why my dad gave up the farm and got back into his engineering job and got it in Ada because it was too hard for the kids to go to school.
Yeah.